everyone. So I have this website that I want to share with my students about deserts, but the URL is kind of long for them to type. So I have a couple of options to make it easier to share this with my students. One is to do a tiny URL. You can access this website by going to tinyurl.com. So first I need my URL that I want to make tiny. I can copy it either by right-clicking and going to copy or by doing Control-C on the keyboard. Once I go back to the tinyurl website, I will paste the website here. And then there's also an option for me to have my own URL. So whenever I click Make Tiny URL, it'll have a URL that's tinyurl.com/ and then some random letters and numbers. But if I don't want the random letters and numbers, I can just put my own URL ending right here. So let's say I wanted it to be desert biome. Whenever I click Make Tiny URL, it says that it's not available, and that's because someone's already chosen that URL to do. So it has created a random string of letters and numbers, or I could, again, try a different one by pasting in that original URL and trying to come up with something that someone else might not have already come up with, such as Clements Deserts. And so now all my students have to do is go to tinyurl.com/ Clements Deserts. You can copy it. And when I go to a new website and paste that, it takes me to that URL. Another option is to make a QR code. So if you do a Google search for a QR code generator, you could choose any of these. I'm going to go with just the first one that shows up. And I paste that long URL. So I'll go back and copy it, paste it here, and then click Create QR Code. Now over here on the right, it's created that QR code for me. So I can right click and save it, or I can go down here to download. And since it didn't have an option for me to copy it, I can use my snipping tool. So if I wanted to just snip that and then copy and paste it somewhere, I can do that. Another option is to put in some Google Chrome extensions. So you can get Chrome extensions by going to the Chrome store. And I just did a Google search for Chrome store and then Chrome store extensions. And so if I make sure that extensions is clicked, I can search for a tiny URL maker or a QR code maker. And I've already got mine installed. So when I click on tiny URL, it automatically comes up with a tiny URL for me without me having to go to that website. I can also click on my QR code generator, and it'll automatically create that QR code for me. And then I can copy it or save the image. So those were both in the Chrome Web Store. If you have any questions about QR codes or tiny URLs, let me know.